to another lesson and another blessing with yours truly, your domestic issues counselor, Mr. James Horton. Also your domestic violence counselor, right? Today we're going to be dealing with a group process class that I call, that is titled, How Many Domestic Licks Does It Take to Get to the Center of a Lollipop? Right? We've heard that before, but before we go on, I would like to invite you and request from you to subscribe to my channel. Push the red subscribe button on your YouTube channel. It's under the title, Domestic Issues with the Counselor, Mr. James Horton. Just remember that, Domestic Issues with the Counselor, Mr. James Horton. I ask you also to share it with your friends, share it with as many people as possible. I am the answer. I am one of the answers that is called to do a job, a service. It's the answer to many of your issues with your children, many issues with yourself, the lost space you may be in. I'm going to definitely help you get there. I'm going to help you get there, but you must open up, surrender, put your defenses down, and allow yourself to receive what God has for you. Many of us are always wanting help, but when help comes, we seem to want to tell help how to help us, or that's not the help that I need, or how do you really know what help looks like? All right, okay. It says, how many domestic licks does it take to get to the center of a lollipop? It says, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a lollipop? It is an outline, depiction, and a description of many people who come from and have a generational family history of centered lollipops. Lollipops are known to engulf themselves in the center of pain, allowing the pain to be a motivating factor that jars, motivates, and pushes most of us to strive for a better position or a better life. How many licks does it take to become the center of a lollipop? Describes anything that causes one pain and embarrassment, like relationships and drug abuse, right? They both cause a lot of pain, right? And they cause some good feelings too, but why should you have to pay for a feeling? All right, how many licks does it take gets to, like relationships and drugs, how many licks does it take to get to become the center of a lollipop? Are also stoppers and blockers that are known as dream distractors and self-esteem attackers. Please answer the following questions, you guys. Please answer the following questions. Strap your seatbelts on. We're about to take a ride. Number one says, when you were running in the streets or in the game and going in and out of jail, how many domestic licks did it take to get to the center of a lollipop and learn that the game wasn't for you, right? When you were running in the streets or in the game and going in and out of jail, how many domestic licks did it take to get to the center of a lollipop and learn that the game wasn't for you? Some people can go one time. Some people can be in a situation with the handcuffs on and on their way to jail, and maybe the officer decides to let you go, decides that he's not going to take you in. And that just might be enough. That might be enough to say, you know what, I'm not getting in any more trouble. I'm not riding in the wrong car. I'm not picking up the wrong people to ride with. I'm not picking up people to say, hey, take me home so I can put this gun up. Take me home so I can put these drugs up, right? You're not putting yourself in those positions anymore. You choose to ride by yourself because you know you may just be the safest person to ride in the car by yourself. So you make better decisions. You don't make foolish decisions that's going to cost you. If you really have gotten to the center of the lollipop, you know that somebody else's stuff shouldn't have to be your stuff, right? So, excuse me. Number two, relationship domestic lick taker. Relationship domestic lick taker. How many domestic licks did it take to get to the center of a lollipop before you knew you couldn't take another kick or another lick, right? How many, right? Some relationships think it's normal. Some women, as well as even many of us men, we just receive the abuse. It reminds us of our upbringing. It reminds us of how our parents fought each other and fought us and beat us, right? That we think it's a part of normal life to allow someone to keep hitting us with this lick and that lick, right? So how many licks does it take for you? Ask yourself before you've made a decision to let that go and go somewhere else and do something different, right? And so we have other things that's connected to that is a syndrome, and sometimes we think we deserve it. You know, BWS is battered women syndrome, and that takes on that kind of behavior, thinking that you deserve the abuse, you deserve to be hit upside the head, and you deserve this stuff. So there's a lot of sick behaviors, and I haven't yet written about males, but I'm sure males go through the same syndrome, right? Number 3, domestic denying drug abuse hits. Domestic denying drug abuse hits and multiple licks. How many domestic licks does it take to get to the center of a lollipop to admit you have a problem? How many hits upside your head? How many car crashes? How many DUIs? How many drug programs? How many experiences and relapses and slips and decision makings are you going to get to before you get to the center of a lollipop and find out that it's over? It's over. That is over and done, and you're not going that way anymore. And you also know once you know, you find that you already know what it looks like if you turn backwards. One thing you don't, and we don't really realize, is what it looks like if we stay forward, right? We've spent years going backwards and looking backwards, but how many years have we invested in ourselves to take a chance to go forward without the substances, without the vices, right? Is a question one must ask themselves. Number 4, domestic lollipop liquor. Are you the center of the lollipop, or is the lollipop the center of you? Are you domestic lollipop liquor? Are you the center of the lollipop, or is the lollipop the center of you? You're gonna have to find out what it is, and you know, and quit letting everybody lick all over you and lick all over things because they seem to be sweet, right? So number 5, domestic lollipop. When it comes to thriving to the top and becoming all you ever wanted to be, how many licks have you been willing to take to get to the center of a lollipop, right? Domestic lollipop. When it comes to thriving to the top and becoming all you ever wanted to be, how many licks would you say you've been willing to take to get to the center of the lollipop? How many? How many licks, right? Oh man, you can take some hits, man, on the way to the top. It's crowded at the bottom, so there's a whole lot of people, and there's a whole lot of things that seem to be automatically in one's way, right? Getting on their way to the top. Sometimes we tell our secrets to people, right? And we spoil the whole thing because we share what we're going to do instead of doing what we should be doing, right? Number 5, domestic lollipop. When it comes to, number 6, domestic, it says, number 6, relationship use and relationship abuse. How many licks does it take to get near the center of a lollipop to learn the difference between relationship use and relationship abuse? Relationship use and relationship abuse. How many licks does it take to get near the center of a lollipop to learn the difference between relationship use and relationship abuse? Relationship use is nothing really wrong. Sometimes it is, but as many times there's nothing wrong with being useful to each other, being helpful to each other. I mean, asking your partner, could they iron your clothes? I mean, cleaning the house up instead of expecting your partner who's going to work to do all, to pay the bills and, and cook the meals and do all those things. I mean, you can be useful too. So we can be in use to each other and helping the load be a lot lighter. But then we have abuse, right? We have relationship abuse, and there's a difference between the use and abuse of a relationship. Many of us are in relationships just to abuse somebody, just to let our steam off on somebody, just to hit somebody upside the back of the head, just to have somebody to kick on and beat on and all that. So those are different levels of abuse. They also have the level of mental abuse, saying mental and things, tearing someone down by just saying negative things instead of watering the relationship, instead of allowing the relationship to be a plant. They say if you don't water the plant, that's the level of abuse. You don't water the plant will die. So who would want a dying or dead relationship? Hopefully not you. I know it's not me. I don't want that. Okay. Number 7, domestic lollipop friendship liquor. How many of your friends' boots or butts have you been willing to lick to get to the center of a lollipop before you learn friendship doesn't start with them, it starts and ends with you? Domestic lollipop friendship liquor. How many of your friends' boots or butts have you been willing to lick to get to the center of a lollipop before you've learned friendship doesn't start with you, with them, it starts with you and ends with you, right? You must be a friend to yourself. You must know how you treat yourself as many times how others will treat you. You must stand up and say, hey, I know what friendship is to me. I know the kind of friend I want to be with me. So if you become that friend with you, you won't be so caught up in starving and overwhelming yourself by seeking and searching and buying friends. You can just have a friend within you, and that's an attractive thing. You'll draw people to you. You'll draw businesses to you. You'll draw opportunities to yourself by starting with you and loving you, right? All right. Number 8, domestic stepdaddy, baby daddy lollipop liquor. When you're taking care of your children you made with someone you're not with, or someone you're not with anymore, or children that are your children, that the children are not your children, how many licks did it take to get to the center of a lollipop before you learn that you are not a sucker, you are really a man, right? Right? Or a woman, right? Or a woman. Domestic stepdaddy, stepmama, baby daddy liquor. When you're taking care of your children you made with someone else, right? And you're not with that person anymore, right? Or you're taking care of some kids that you know are not yours, right? Biologically, you know they're not your biological children. How many licks did it take to get to that place? Because people are always trying to call people, you a lollipop, you a this, you a sucker. Before you learn that taking care of those that are not biologically yours really says that you're a stand-up woman or a stand-up man. And you're not a lollipop, and you're not a sucker. Because everybody needs somebody. And there are a lot of those little somebodies and young children that actually have a missing or deceased parent, right? And there's a position many times, many of us don't have children, right? And God is so creative. Our powerful Lord God is so creative, is that he'll give you those children that you may have not been able to actually birth or contribute to the birth, and give you opportunity to do a great job. Okay, that's going to be it for yours truly, your counselor, Mr. James Horton. Thank you again for attending my group. Another lesson, another blessing. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Domestic Issues with the Counselor, Mr. James Horton.